Ready? Are you ready? And we're live. Are you ready? Here we go. It's Monday morning and we're live. What a weekend this has been. What a weekend this has been. I have not seen in recent times so much bloodshed. I never thought that I would live to see two mass shootings in less than 24 hours. 29 people dead and over 50 people injured in 13 hours of bloodshed, 1,300 miles away. I cannot believe. I think I'm still in shock. I'm still in shock. For those of you who are joining us, thanks so much. We had a show yesterday in which we talked about the value of love and the value of unity. And in identifying what is the possible cause, what are some of the possible reasons that contribute to the mass shootings that we're seeing. It's not just gun control, it's not just about reducing access to guns, but it's also, and the president is now addressing the nation. Y'all want to hear what he has to say? It's not just about that. It's also about how we can overcome this. For just a minute, I want to hear what the president has to say. It says he's addressing the nation live. So let's hear what he has to say. Let's hear what's going on. Is he talking? He's not talking yet. So we want to know, it's supposed to be at 10 a.m. Oh, here he is. He's about to talk. So let's hear what he has to say. The president must have something to say in all of this. We're all here in this country trying to understand, where do we go from here? What is the federal government going to do about having access to assault weapons? And don't tell me guns don't kill people. Don't tell me that guns don't kill people. People kill people. Well, in countries where there is no access to assault weapons, they don't have mass shootings. So let's start that conversation again. What will be done? Let's start that. Do you see where I'm coming from? So it makes no sense you tell anybody that guns don't kill people. When guns don't kill people, that's why they use guns in war, right? Right. But more importantly, countries where there's no access to assault weapons, you don't have mass shootings. There is no reason for a 4-month-old baby to be shot when her mom went to Walmart. Do we want to hear from him at all? I don't know. He's the president. We have to hear what he must have something to say going forward about somebody says America has lost its way. I kind of feel like we're no longer the city on a hill. I want to see that come back. I kind of feel like we somehow have to get back to basics and get back to who we are. Yeah. I feel like we need to get back to who we are, because this is crazy stuff. 2 mass shootings in 13 hours, 1,300 miles apart. And a 4-month-old baby. What do you say to that family? What are we saying to the family members this morning who are at the coroner's office claiming they're dead family members and have to make arrangements for funerals? What do you say when you go home and you have to sort out what they left behind? What do you say when you go in the bathroom and their toothbrush is still there? What do you say when you go in the bathroom and the towel they used to shower with is still hanging up? And their clothes that they took off expecting to come back home? What do you say? So I want to hear what the president has to say. I want to know. He's the leader. He was elected. I want to know. The people went to vote and they said, this is the man we want to run us. I want to hear what he has to say, because we have a problem. Because you know what the greatest problem is? The problem is that we don't know when the next one will be. The problem is we now know beyond the shadow of a doubt that there will be a next one. After Saturday, there's no more, well, if we do this, it won't happen. No. Saturday, we all watched people getting shot up in Walmart. And we looked at each other like, you got to be kidding me. And by Sunday morning at 1:30, we were learning that one had just taken place. And we were like, no, no, it can't be. So now we're thinking that it can happen anywhere at any time. So I want to ask a question to you all. What is happening in suburban middle class homes where young white males are? What are you so dissatisfied with? I want to know what makes them so dissatisfied with life. Because mass shootings are not caused by people who are disenfranchised. They're not caused by people who are in the ghetto, in the hood, who have no hope. They're the ones without hope, who have no hope, who are subjected to all kinds of evil that is commonly attached to your color and your class. So they're not the ones who are walking into shopping centers and walking into theaters and walking into restaurants and public spaces and pulling out guns. These for young people are coming from white suburban homes. They're not mentally ill. That's not a mental illness, and that would mean everybody who live, all of us would be ill, right? They're not mentally ill. Something else is driving it. You know what it is? They have no hope. They lack hope. And when they look at the world today, they can't see themselves in the wider picture. They can't see a role that they have to play, because for years, they were just coasting on privilege. Now you've got to be talented. You have to have a skill. You're either doing engineering, whether it's computer engineering, or you're doing engineering to build stuff. The world has changed. It's financial services and technology that is driving the world's economies today. Technology is driving everything else, and financial services. People want more financial products so they can have access to more credit, so they can buy more stuff. And you want more portals like Amazon and the technology that drives the commerce that drives that. So they're looking at themselves and they're not equipped for that world. They don't see a world in which they're going to be the latest and the greatest. There are two things driving mass shooters. You know what they are? They don't have a place. I just told you. They don't have a place. They want fame and attention. They think they're not getting enough attention because the world is suddenly not focused on little Johnny who grew up and little Johnny who wanted to play soccer or who is going to be the next big, great quarterback. The world doesn't care about that anymore. It's too fast today. Do you see what I'm saying? The world is way too fast. So what's happening is little Johnny is not getting any attention. A lot of why they're doing this is attention. They know the police are not going to shoot them. Invariably, they don't get shot. So they know they're going to be written in the annals of history. And their names are going to appear on another wicked message board. I don't know why anybody would want to put up a message board of mass shooters to have a voice. Come on. That is grossly irresponsible. So they want to see their names. And when they go to jail and they're being processed, they see their names. They're on every news flash. They see their faces and they feel like suddenly they're relevant. I'm waiting on the president to speak. He hasn't come to the podium yet. I'm still waiting for it to happen. It's right. Do you see what I'm saying? Crazy stuff. So we need more love. And I feel like if we show them love, they need to show love and to be receptive to love also. Right? And we do, a lot of what is going on is driven by their own fear. Their fear that they won't be relevant. So when they become fearful, they become violent. They say, okay, well, I'm just going to show you. You know, typical kid, on the playground acting like a bully. Everybody ignores him because he's not the cool kid, whatever. So he says, well, I'm just going to show you. I'm just going to show up at school one day and I'm just going to show you how important I am and that I am better than you and I can do stuff. That's all that it is. The president is now speaking. Let's hear what he has to say. Come on. For some reason, we're not getting the feed. I want to hear what he has to say. I'm serious. Oh, maybe I should go to CNN instead of NBC. I'm serious. I want to hear what he has to say. The president of the United States is addressing the nation after 13 hours of bloodshed. And we all want to hear what the president has to say. Because this is important. This is important, people. He's speaking. For some reason, my phone is not picking it up.
And the survivors.
Here we go.
We will stand by their side forever. We will never forget. These barbaric slaughters are an assault upon our communities, an attack upon our nation.
Yes, sir.
And a crime against all of humanity. We are outraged and sickened by this monstrous evil, the cruelty, the hatred, the malice, the bloodshed, and the terror. Our hearts are shattered for every family whose parents, children, husbands, and wives were ripped from their arms and their lives. America weeps for the fallen. We are a loving nation, and our children are entitled to grow up in a just, peaceful, and loving society. Together, we lock arms to shoulder the grief. We ask God in heaven to ease the anguish of those who suffer, and we vow to act with urgent resolve. I want to thank the many law enforcement personnel who responded to these atrocities.
1 more minute. I want to hear what's the result.
Grace
Let's
and
hear it.
courage of American heroes. I have spoken with Texas Governor Greg Abbott and Ohio Governor Mike DeWine, as well as Mayor DeMargo of El Paso, Texas, and Mayor Nan Whaley of Dayton, Ohio, to express our profound sadness and unfailing support. Today, we also send the condolences of our nation to President Obrador of Mexico and all the people of Mexico for the loss of their citizens in the El Paso shooting. Terrible, terrible thing. I have also been in close contact with Attorney General Barr and FBI Director Wray. Federal authorities are on the ground, and I have directed them to provide any and all assistance required, whatever is
So the
needed.
president is shocked.
The shooter in El Paso posted a manifesto online consumed by racist hate.
You hear that? That's the president. He says the shooter was consumed by racist hate.
White supremacy. These sinister ideologies must be defeated.
Thank you.
Hate has no place in America.
Hate has no place in America. I'm just repeating what the president said.
Ravages the heart and devours the soul. We have asked the
So now the government is going to fix this one way or another. I don't know how. I don't know when. But I do know this one thing. We are going to have to start by being more vigilant, because this that the president is saying is not going to stop them. In other words, what I'm saying is it didn't really start with him. You see what I'm saying? It didn't start with him. This existed prior to this. Unity of hate began when Barack Obama became president. That's when we started seeing it. Now, what's going to happen? What needs to happen is that in moving forward, he's addressing what has happened, but we're going to have to change. You know what that means, America? It means we need to stop the hate. We need to stop hating people who don't look like me, who don't look like you. Just because I don't look like you does not mean you hate me. Do you see what I'm saying? Just because someone does not sound like you doesn't mean you hate the person. As the president said, this is not America. This is not who we are. The America that we knew was the America that said, hey, come. They reject you over there. Come over here, baby. You can find your way in this great diaspora. That America stopped because we started calling people names. That has to stop, and it stops right now. Because here's the thing. If we don't stop it, they're going to target someone bigger, and they're going to go somewhere better. And the thing is, the inherent biases, the implicit biases that exist is why this young man could get away with it. Now, if a young black man had walked around in a Walmart parking lot with a gun, he would have been stopped by security before he got anywhere further. If I'm speaking the truth, it's colored. It's colored. Let's just be clear about that. But a young white man, it's normal. I mean, nobody looks, it's like he's not subjected to the same biases that a person of color has. And what I fear is that they're going to go after a bigger target that they can get more attention. Because as much attention as this young man, the young man from El Paso is dead, but the young man in Dayton, Ohio, he's still alive, right? As much attention as this has given them, guess what? They're going to go after bigger targets. Bigger, and they're going to get in. Why? Because the security in those places typically overlook young white males because they're not trouble. That's an implicit bias. So what we're seeing, all of this is designed to make us confront ourselves that as a nation, for us to move forward, we got to fix this first. We got to get rid of this. We got to fix this stuff and wipe it away so we can move forward. The world has changed, everybody. Have you all noticed, or is it just the rest of us are noticing? The world has changed. Technology is driving the world's economy today. Financial products, financial services are driving, that's what drives the world's economy. It's not manufacturing. They're making cars that can fly. They're making cars that have computer screens big like an iPad screen. I don't think we should drive in that one because I don't think the accidents that are near misses on the freeway with just the little screens that people have, imagine, right? So the world has changed. So technology is what is driving the world today. And young people some of them are finding that they don't have a place in that new economy and that new reality. Well, backtrack a bit to 100 years ago when Teddy Roosevelt came up with a New Deal. There were immigrants in America then. You do realize that, right? There were Chinese immigrants and there were immigrants from Europe. How do you think they felt? So I really understand me. I am trying to understand the rationale of hate. I'm trying to understand where this comes from because it is the most ludicrous ideology ever. This young man is talking about this country is becoming more Hispanic. And I'm like, you're in Texas? Texas historically was part of Mexico. And you're talking about the country becoming more Hispanic. Where are these folks learning? What are they learning in schools? What kind of ludicrous, ridiculous idea is that? Nevada, New Mexico, Arizona, and California were once part of Texas. Are they aware that some of the settlers who were here came from Spain? I just want to know, where do they get this ridiculous idea? And these stupid ideas are promulgated and perpetuated by silly people who should know better. Do you understand what I'm saying? How are you going to go to Texas and ask questions like that when Mexico and Texas were sister states for a long, long time until the Spanish-American War? Is there anybody who is awake or aware? Do you see what I'm saying? How can you talk about America being a white country when there were Native Americans who lived here before white people set foot here? We need to stop it. The hatred we have for others is what perpetuates these myths, because that's what they are. They're a myth. It's not real. And now they're done. He's done, right? And now, here we are. So we've got to stop the hate. It starts with you and I. Stop looking at people funny and stop making people feel funny. We need to all get out there and say, and the first thing we need to do, find the parents of these mass shooters and hold them accountable. When the parents have to stand up in a court of law and defend their actions and defend their parenting, that's when other parents are going to start supervising their kids. Because I just want to know. I have children. I live in a house with my children. And I want to know, how do I not know what the hell is going on in their bedrooms? I want to know, what kind of parenting is that? We need to start holding these parents accountable. Some of these kids are using their parents' credit cards to buy these weapons of mass destruction. And you don't ask questions? You don't see that they have a shed or they have a space in the garage and you don't go in the basement and ask what they're doing in there? A lot of it is the rhetoric that the children hear from their parents. So they're hearing their parents fanning the flames of hatred. So the parents are not preaching the message of inclusivity, but the message of exclusivity, which is so anti-American. It's against everything that America is. Make no mistake about it. America was not built by whites. America was built on the slave labor of blacks. Let's be clear about that. Blacks and whites. Whites had one ideology. Blacks were the labor that drove this economy and created this economy. America has had the largest economy in the world since 1871. How did that happen? Because there were slaves who were producing. Hello. So think about that. So America has had the largest economy in the world since 1871. That's when our power began to manifest. So we need to stop the foolishness and the whiting of history and the writing on the color pages of history that whites were the only people who made America. That's a lie from the pit of hell. And that's where all this racist agenda started. And we need to stop it. All it has done is make us hate one another. All it has done is make us stand back and disapprove of people and pick up a gun and shoot a 4-month-old baby whose blood ended up on the shooter. How do you pick up a gun and shoot a 4-month-old baby? Talk to me. And the FBI says that typically mass shooters spend 2 years planning this stuff. I was rolling my head like, oh God, stop it. 2 years planning this. And they're doing it for fame and attention. So the news media needs to start blacking out. Stop rolling their names like a roll call. Stop paying attention. Do what New Zealand did. Do you know, we still don't know the name of the shooter in New Zealand. Do you know that? In Christchurch, New Zealand. The government refused to put up his name and a picture of him so that he won't become an icon like we do here in America. We need to stop because they're seeking fame. They're looking for fame. They want attention. Look at me. I'm over here. I'm little Johnny from the suburb and I need your attention. I need you to focus on me. We don't have time for that today. We're too busy trying to figure out why my iPhone needs like 20 million apps updated. I'm sick of it. By the way, I'm tired of that. Like I update it, and then in a few days, all the apps need to be updated. Oh, and then they start glitching and pulling, especially the apps you use most frequently. So we're too distracted to pay attention to little Johnny who just wants attention because he kicked the ball. We're not interested in that anymore. There are too many things vying for our attention. I remember when I was a beauty queen, they used to ask us these questions to make us sound intelligent, I don't know, or make us sound like we know what we want to do. And they used to say, well, what is your goal in life? And you remember when people used to say, well, my goal in life is to end world hunger. And after a while, I told people, stop, don't say that anymore. I kid you not. This is real. My goal was never that. Don't ask what mine was. You know what mine was. I was going to march down to the United Nations and talk about ending violence against women and children. You know, that was my goal. I was going to become an advocate, right? But for some other beauty queens, it was to end world hunger. And it used to sound like, girl, really? How do you propose to do that? Well, we're going to partner with the United Nations and we're going to partner with this and that. Okay. So now when you think about it, maybe we should go back to the day when that was an ideal. Think about it. Now, what is the goal? To end violence, to stop mass shootings, to ban assault weapons. We've got to ban assault weapons. I'm going to put up a PDF of something that emergency room doctors came up with. It's an article that emergency room doctors across the country got together. And they wanted to tell us what happens when someone gets shot with an AR-15. I read it much to my dismay. And I tell you, I literally curled. I found my legs. I was sitting on a chair and my legs curled up under me because I could not imagine the human body trying cannot withstand the velocity of an AR-15, a bullet that comes through an AR-15. I think we all need to read that. Why? Because we need to talk to our children. And everybody's, I have Second Amendment rights. I have a right too for you not to take your gun out and shoot at me. That's my right too. So you can have your Second Amendment rights all day, every day. Yeah. But what about me too? My right is I don't want to be shot at. I want to go to Walmart. I want to go to Target. I want to go to the nearest big box store. I want to go to the cinema and watch a movie again. Because my house doesn't have such a big screen, no matter how big the TV is. It could be 79 inch, it could be 90 inch. It's still not big enough like the one in the cinema. I still want to go. I like going out and eating the popcorn and walking into the theater and sitting there and just, I miss that. I want to go shopping at a mall and not look for exits. That happened to you? There's some malls in my metro area I won't go to because I don't think the exits are close enough. I don't like how it's built. There's one particular mall that I don't go to. I really don't like how it's built. I'm like, where are you going to duck if they start shooting? And, when I said that, my daughter was like, are you nuts? And I'm like, no, so I don't go. I go to one of my favorite malls is Great Lakes Crossing because all the stores are open. So you can dash into one kind of thing. So I'll go to that one all day. But if you know why I go to Great Lakes Crossings, right? Because the others, I'm like, where are you going to run to if they start? You're dead. So I want to return to the day when America. I want to return to the day when we could just do that. Do you? I want to return to the day when, if our neighbor had a problem, we showed up with whatever they needed. You remember that, America? If there's a disaster in another country, America is usually the first place, the first country to send aid. When we would just show up and just say, yeah, we just send food and whatever, water, whatever. I want to go back to that. You heard what happened in El Paso? These random acts of kindness where people, the citizens, showed up at the hospitals to bring food for the family members who were shot. Did you hear that? They showed up and brought food for the emergency responders. People were just hugging people and saying it's going to be okay. That's what I want. Love cancels hate. In the midst of all of this, we need to embrace one another and say, you know something, I love you and I need you to survive. We tend to think that we're isolated and we're one person and I can exist. No, you can't. You will drive yourself crazy, first of all, being alone for a long time. Lord have mercy, that will drive you nuts. So that doesn't work. But we need to get back to the stage where we really can look at our fellow man and say, I love you. I need you to survive. Bigotry, racism, hate, it has to stop. We can't continue like this. It is destroying the very fabric of who we are. Look, we're a nation who loves fun. Hey, it's summer. Do you know it's August? What happens next? Say it. What happens next? Say it. It's football. College football is about to start like in 2.5 weeks. I can't wait. And then it's going to be the NFL. Oh my God. We love fun in this country. We just want to sit down and watch a ball game on a Saturday and on a Sunday. Drink beer and do whatever it is we feel like doing after we've done the errands and shop so we can go face work on Monday. That's who we are. Can we get back to that without fear of, you're just going to run into the store to pick up something, but you will come back? Not that your family member has to go down to the morgue to look for you or go into the hospital. Can we just stop it? Stop looking at people. Stop hating people because they're brown, because they're black, because they're orange or they're red. Like some of us don't have no color, like myself. Anyway, right? Can we, just because we're not vanilla white, we got to stop that. We have to stop. We have to stop. There is no place for this. In this new world, there's no place for this. Let's face it. Our ancestors fought a battle for freedom, can we honor their memory by at least practicing love? There's a song I want to leave you with this morning. It's a song I learned in church. I spent a lot of my life in church. And I think in a lot of ways, we need to get back to basics, right? I know that we made mistakes. I'm aware of that. Preachers, we have a responsibility. We owe an apology to the public. Yes, they made a lot of mistakes. They were having sex with minors when they shouldn't have while telling people how to live. Yes, that was wrong. And they drew attention to themselves instead of pointing up. We perhaps need to get back to basics. I was watching the news this morning, and in Ohio, in Dayton, people gathered at a vigil and were singing the song Stand By Me. Stand By Me is a pop song. I'm like, we couldn't even think of a church song that everybody could relate to. We got to stop it. There is only one supreme being, and that is God Almighty. No human being is supreme. This ideology of white supremacy has been wrong. If in recent memory, Hitler disproved it. Hitler proved that white supremacy did not work. What are you trying to do? Reinvent the wheel? Trying to be better than Hitler? To think that it could work? White supremacy never worked and will never work. It does not work. Let's cut it out. Let's cut out bigotry, hatred of all, cut out xenophobia. Stop hating people, period. How are you hating human beings? Right? Stop calling people names like they're animals, telling people to go back and stop. Some people who I see who are saying that, I'm like, you don't even have a leg to stand on. You look like you're not far from a grave or something. So how are you telling people? And it's the very same people who are going to come in and take care of you. You realize if you get sick, you go to a hospital, chances are your doctor is a brown or black person. So you really want to stand out there and talk about hate when the person who is most likely to save your life is a person of color because that's the position they occupy? I think we need to get back to basics. We need to get back to the love of God that is shed abroad for everybody. I think we need to get back to that. I think we need to get back to start holding hands and singing songs of love, not just Stand By Me, but let us stand together and rebuild our country together. This is one nation. You're bringing tears to my eyes. I love this country. This country did something to me. When I was an immigrant, I'm an immigrant, I was running from violence. My ex-husband, I couldn't get a divorce. He beat me up and there was no recourse in the courts. Everybody told me to go to America. To get away from him, go to America. He hated that. So I came to America. Took 3 years, but I got away from him. So you're never going to get me to say anything negative about America. Because for me, America was a city on a hill. That was where I obtained freedom from violence, and I've never looked back. So my love for America is rooted in its foundational principles of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, like football season coming up in a few weeks. Yeah, bring it, right? So we got to get back to love. The love of God that is shed abroad. I know it's something that it might offend some of you. You might think that it isn't, but the truth of the matter is we need a love that stands to the test of time, a love that overshadows how we human beings feel, a love that is greater than me and you, a love that will stand here even when we're gone. That's the love that we need. We need to get back to basics. There's a song we used to sing in church that says, I won't harm you with words from my mouth. I love you. I need you to survive. You are important to me. I need you. I need you. I need you to survive. I won't harm you with words from my mouth. I love you. And I need you to survive. I feel you are important to me. I feel if we continue to remember that, then we're not going to pick up guns and shoot one another. We're going to love or filament. So I challenge you. I am challenging you. When you step away from where you are right now, and if the next person you encounter does not look like you, I challenge you to smile and say, hey, even if they don't answer, just go through your day and say, hey, how is it going? Hey, how is it going? You see someone and they look like they're struggling, say, hey, how is it going? You're standing in the supermarket. Instead of just mean mugging everyone, just stand there and say, hey, how is it going? I challenge you. I challenge you to. I'm challenging myself. I'm going to remember that when next I drive down the highway and this aggressive pickup truck, people start driving me down, I'm going to remember to say, okay, so I'm not going to mean mug you either. But do you see what I mean? I challenge you, someone who does not look like you. So if you live in a world where everybody looks like you, maybe you need to step out of that for a minute because you live in a bubble, because that's not how the world looks. And a lot of what these young white people are experiencing, they have not a clue what the world really looks like. Because when you go to Hollywood, there are not many places that are white only anymore. You're in New York and you're on the stock market, you're on the 150th floor, you're on the 97th floor. When you look around the room, there are other faces of color in those rooms and in those settings. So the world has changed. And I think what happens is people don't recognize that, right? And go to your representatives page. We need to tell them we want background checks, universal background checks, big time. And we need to ban assault rifles. If you see what an AR-15 rifle does, the bullet that comes out of that to a human body, you don't stand a chance. And these people are practiced. They shoot for the mass, this part, the torso, so they never miss. The emergency room doctors say when it hits, it destroys the tissue and the bone. So you're done. Is it okay? It's not. Think about it. An innocent person who is just going about their life, they have nothing to do with this young man's hate. They didn't do anything to him. But yet he targeted people and a 4-month-old baby. Love. So I love you. I need you to survive. You need me to survive. So if you encounter someone who looks like me today and who sounds like me today, say, hey, how is it going? Matter of fact, y'all hit up my timeline and say, hey, Harriet, how is it going? Right? Can we do that? And the president is on Twitter. Send him some love. He needs some love right now because this is a tough place to be. It's not easy. The whole world is looking at us. It's not easy, right? I love you and I need you to survive. Thank you so much for joining us. Come back and see me tomorrow, right? Be blessed, everybody. Have a great day. Remember the love of God, the love of God. Come on, the love of God protects us all. The love of God protects us. The love of God. Amen. Be blessed, everybody. See ya. Be blessed. Hey, Willie Mo, how's it in London? Be blessed, right? Give London some love for me. I haven't been there in years, but I'll be there next year. All right. See you then.